This is what happens when the fourth turning meets fifth generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is King.
September 10th, 2025, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson decided he wouldn't be attending his electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College. At 8:23, he walked to his gray Dodge Challenger, and a little while later, he drove off to Utah Valley University. 3 hours after that, at 11:49, he exited his car wearing a different set of clothes, a cap, dark sunglasses, and visibly limping toward the parking lot adjacent to the UVU campus. He walked up the parking lot stairs, headed to the Low C Center, and then was nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, conservative speaker Charlie Kirk was hosting one of his debate events on campus, roughly 200 yards away from where Tyler was. At exactly 12:23, a single shot rang out, piercing the left side of Kirk's throat, sending the entire campus into chaos. To add to the already extremely tragic situation, CCTV footage showed Tyler, then unknown to the authorities, fleeing the scene and successfully evading capture. Tyler's father, Matt, saw the pictures of the killer on the news. To his unimaginable shock, he saw his son being reported about on national television for having murdered Charlie Kirk. Despite his utter shock and disbelief, Matt went to his son and simply asked him, "Tyler, is this you? This looks like you." Tyler immediately confessed. Soon after his capture, Tyler went completely silent and has refused to cooperate with the police. While the roommate was initially anonymous, that didn't last long, as a neighbor of Tyler's came forward to speak with the media, and some pretty interesting things were said when the topic came up, and the neighbor claims to have witnessed them together.
Were they holding hands?
Yeah, they were.
And so they look like they were couples?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some published reports out there that this individual, the roommate, may have been transitioning. Did that correlate with what you saw?
Yeah, definitely. I remember them talking about a doctor's appointment.
An unknown source in law enforcement had already attested to the same story. And with this much scrutiny and attention on something, keeping this person's name a secret was basically impossible. Eventually, people found Tyler's Venmo account, where one name stood out: Lance Twiggs.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today's edition of Human Events Daily. We've got a special episode for you today. Now, if you saw the previous episode, I would like you to go back and watch that if you haven't, because we're going to be making references to that episode. We're going to be talking about Tyler Robinson and these leaks that came out from a former roommate, friend, whistleblower to the YouTube account Turkey Tom. And these messages describe in great detail the strange and toxic relationship between Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson. And so Liz Wheeler and myself in yesterday's episode, the previous episode, went through in great detail those leaks, those sentences, those phrases. We pulled out what could they all mean. We corroborated that with other information. And so I would encourage you to go and check out that episode before you listen to this episode, but we make references as much of it as you can. What are we doing today? Today, we've got a very special guest on. It's Dr. Chloe Carmichael. She's a clinical psychologist. That was their twisted world. Today, we're going into the toxic psychology, the mind of Tyler Robinson. And as we do that, I'm sitting here in the original Charlie Kirk studio right now. This desk right here. This is the desk where Charlie launched his show. This microphone was Charlie's microphone. This is where it all began when the Charlie Kirk show. Charlie and I sat in this room and debating and planning and scheming and doing it all. And now he's not here. He's not going to be coming back. And what was done to Erica and their children, Charlie's family, it's an unspeakable evil. It's an unspeakable evil, one that will never go away. No more bedtime stories. Little girl who will never be picked up by her father again. Little boy who will never get taught by his dad how to throw a football, how to make a half court shot. No. How to throw a baseball. None of that. And that was all robbed by Tyler Robinson. It was robbed from them. Every single moment of every single day that Charlie could have spent with his family was taken from them. And that creates a debt. That creates a debt, ladies and gentlemen. And look, not to make it personal, but like I said, I'm here in his studio. Charlie's my friend. And I suppose in a way, this is one of the ways that I deal with things like this is I get to the bottom of it. I want to unpack every single piece of it that I can. I want to dig in through every shadow, open every closed door, look under every rock to try to understand, not just from the security perspective, the security failures, and the campus and all the rest of it, but even the individuals and even the psychological situations. What would drive someone to do this? And potentially, maybe then we can even learn, how do we stop the next person who wants to be a Tyler Robinson or a Thomas Matthew Crooks or a Luigi Mangione? So, I don't usually talk about it, but that's why I do what I do. Because if we don't stop them, they will not stop on their own. Right back, Jack Posobiec, Human Events Daily.